Hello and welcome to week 8. Sorry I missed you last week. I got about half the script written for last week's video during Monday Night Football and then never got back to it the rest of the week. And I missed out on getting to brag about my own team, which was last week's high scorer. And that's a big bummer because, as it turns out, my team's not going to be very good this year and it's probably not going to happen again.
Average. Very average.
However, this week, the high scorer, Alex and the Curse of the Bambino, back for his second appearance atop the pile this season, knocking off Tom's ruptured Chubb 166.7 to 104.4. Wasn't much of a curse for the Bambinos this week, getting 4 scores in the 20-plus point category, led by Joe Burrow with 27.6, George Kittle with 26.9, and Travis Etienne Jr. with 25.9, and Austin Eckler with 23.3. Dallas's defense just missed out on that 20-point club, putting up a measly 19.9 points for them themselves. And then just for the fun of it, Brock Purdy on the bench added 21.3 more, but you get no credit for the 20-point club for the bench stars. Dude, basket. I'm not sure where he's going to want to sit, but we'll see. So, Tom's boys had a decent week, but found himself on the wrong end of a powerhouse this week. When you got 6 starters putting up between 12 and 18 points, your best scorers this week were sitting down there on your bench. 37.8 from DeAndre Hopkins, 25.5 from Trey McBride, and 17.8 from Chris Godwin were your 3 of your 4 highest scores this week. Only Michael Pittman Jr. found his way into the starting lineup with his 18 points. If it's any consolation, getting all those bench stars of the week in probably still would have only netted you around 51 points, still would have lost to Alex by 10. In the week's closest game, Pope 2.0's Poo-Poo squeezed out a nail-biter versus Allen's Pickin' So Bad It Hurts, 112.5 to 111.8, just 0.7 of a point for a win. Pope 2.0 was led by Justin Herbert with 24, Joe Mixon with 20, and Javonte Williams with 18.8. Pretty quiet week this week from Cooper Kupp, getting just 6.1 points. Over for Aaron, this is a tough loss. You gave me an earful about it this morning. You certainly aren't thrilled with the Oakland Raiders today. Going into Monday Night Football, you were down by just 3 points. But Jimmy Garoppolo's inability to throw the ball anywhere near Devontae Adams led to him catching just 1 ball for 11 yards, leaving you coming up just a little bit short. Jalen Hurts gave you 27.4, Breece Hall added 21.3, and DeAndre Swift added 14.4 as well. Unfortunately, out of the 5 wide receivers on the roster, you left both Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton on your bench this week, who were both your 2 highest scoring wide receivers. Either one would have been enough to get the win. Elsewhere, Will's You Suck McBain continues to make a strong comeback, knocking off Trent's JT Make Me Great Again 155 to 120.6. Will got 32.9 from Jahmyr Gibbs, finally unleashed.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
29.1 from Josh Allen, 25.2 from Jamar Chase, and 22.9 from Devontae Smith. Will had the perfect lineup in. No starters were outscored by bench players this week. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Trent. Chuba Hubbard was plugged into the lineup in Carolina, but he only put up 7.4 points versus the 14.4 that Zach Moss or A.J. Dillon's 10.2 that were on your bench. You did get 25.2 from Tyreek Hill, 19 from Detroit's defense, and 18.3 from Derek Carr. That's your 3rd loss this season when putting up 120 points. That's pretty rough luck.
Man, that sucks! What?
Looking at a strength of schedule comparison tool, only Tom would be matching your 1-7 record if he had played the same schedule as you. A couple interesting observations from that same strength of schedule checker. If Drew had played Alex's schedule, Drew would be 0-8 at this point instead of 4-4. And just as the other side of the coin, if there's an 0-8 team, there's always a chance for an 8-0 team. That would be Derek if he was playing the same schedule that Will has had so far this year.
We're going to rearrange our schedule here, right?
Brandon's blown call knocks off Drew's 49 problems, 121.1 to 95.2. This game came in almost exactly where it was projected, which doesn't often happen. Brandon was within 0.5 point of his projected number, and Drew came up short on his projection by just 2 points. Brandon got 25.1 from Jalen Waddle, 23.7 from Gabe Davis, and 5 other double-digit scorers. You probably could have used that 29.1 point bomb from Rashid Shaheed off of your bench, but I get it, it would have thrown off your projections too much. Drew's best player this week was riding the pine, with Sam Howell exploding for 34 points against Philly. To be fair, I didn't see that coming either. I didn't start him in the Dynasty League this week. In your starting lineup, you got 29.4 from Gus Edwards, 16.8 from Josh Jacobs, 12.7 from Jared Goff, and 11.8 from Romeo Doubs. Lee gets a very happy ending this week, getting his 4th win and stopping the losing streak, taking down Nick's T-bowling for Columbine, 122.2 to 94.5. Lee had his best possible lineup in here as well. Very impressive balanced game from the squad. No real smash hit players, with Derrick Henry's 19.2 leading 7 players who scored in double digits. You had just 2 players under the double-digit number threshold who still combined for 15 points. Nick had Alvin Kamara put up a 27-point game, followed by 16 from Stephon Diggs and 14.7 from Jake Ferguson. But you did get bit by Patrick Mahomes putting up his career worst performance, in fantasy anyways, scoring just 5.6 points. You also opted to plug in Miles Sanders at your flex spot, who put up a goose egg on just 2 carries.
I warned you about that guy.
That you did.
You did have better options there. Josh Downs, 14.2, or Amari Demercado, 8.9, but it wasn't going to be enough to catch Lee. Scott and Josh rebound from the 2-game losing skid. The Pocket Dogs coast packs my Puka Smurf, 139 to 96.8. CeeDee Lamb kind of just bludgeoned me to death with his 44 points, which led all scorers this week. It would have taken you zeroing out his day to win, for me to actually win. Tua gave you 21.7 points, and 3 other players put up double-digit scores. My 2 best scorers this week were on the bench, as I picked the wrong side of the coin in the Cowboys-Rams shootout. Matt Stafford scored just 11.4, while Dak put up 28.1, tossing ball after ball after ball to the aforementioned CeeDee Lamb. That was probably a tactical error. I probably should have started Dak just to offset any scoring that would have gone your way for Lamb. And of my 4 wide receivers, I chose the wrong guy to bench, as Tyler Lockett led all 4 guys with 22.1 points. It didn't matter. I didn't have the points to close the 43-point deficit anyways. Chris's Minnesota fanboy takes down Derek's fucked up but on purpose, 153.1 to 127.1. Chris got 29.8 from CMC, 24.8 from Johan Dotson, 21.4 from Jordan Addison, and 19.8 from Kirk Cousins in his swan song for this season. Well, Chris, we finally ended up here. Your triple threat of quarterbacks with Mahomes, Cousins, and Jordan Love. You refused to trade Jordan Love early in the season before everybody figured out that Green Bay is awful. And now Mahomes has gone to Nick, and Cousins is gone for the season. And now there is only Jordan Love.
I made a terrible mistake.
For Derek, you got 36 from A.J. Brown and 20.8 from T.J. Hawkinson in your starting lineup this week. Good weeks from Sam Laporta, who put up 19.7 on your bench, along with 17.9 from Rashad White. I was thinking it was going to be interesting this week, see if you were going to start the rookie, a tight end in Detroit, or Hawkinson with a new starting quarterback. But then the Lions are on bye, and so that decision isn't even in play. So you get to see at least a week to figure out what Minnesota's going to do before having to make that decision next week. Here's an update on where we are on betting. Last week, the high score came down to the Monday Night Football game. Nick and I were just a point apart going into the game, and we both had our kickers going. So I ended up winning a 6-pack off of him when Greg Joseph was able to kick the ball better than Jake Moody could kick the ball. Nick somehow convinced Derek to just give him beer for Kyler Murray, which I think was a new one in the league history. I don't know that we've done that at all yet. Scott and I have finally got our kicker battle up and running, which I take a slight lead on through week 1. You should be seeing the players on screen right now for that bet. And yes, I did not take Justin Tucker. I can't wait for that to bite me in the ass again. Darren Waller hurt his hammy this week, but did play, which means that Tom and my bet are still live currently. But I'm going to guess that that's going to come off the book. He's probably not going to play this weekend. That's just gut feeling at this point. Waller's currently the 9th highest scoring tight end, but missed games wipes out our bet. Derek was much smarter and said, let's just use average points, so that way if he misses any games, it doesn't hurt him. Waller's currently at 80.4 points, just slightly behind T.J. Hawkinson's 116.8 for second place. And Travis Kelce's a little further ahead. So he's about 2/3 of where he needs to be, and 10th overall. And then, of course, Green Bay is a complete dumpster fire with me and Nick's bet. I don't know why I thought they would get to a winning record this year.
In hindsight, not one of the better decisions.
Friendly reminder that the trade deadline is just a couple of weeks away, November 18th. It's the start of gun hunting season, so here, at least here in Wisconsin. So get your deals made before you go out and get a deer this season. Unlikely to be a video next week also, but we'll see what happens. Have a happy Halloween, everybody.